Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the LongBox Paradox, episode 98. I am Dan, your host, joined by, as always, Jennifer. Comics will break your heart on YouTube, or comic books will break your heart on Instagram.
No dots between the things.
There's always dots.
Yeah.
There's always money in the banana stand.
There's always money in the banana stand.
So I wanted to start out first by not getting political, but a lot of you should be getting your vote by mail stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking wait until last minute. Just fill it out and get it out in the mail. I got mine out, which kind of a miracle because I usually procrastinate, but I knew the USPS is jacked up. And there's not a whole lot of time, so do your civic responsibility and let's get this clown the fuck out of the house.
Yeah. Make sure that you, if you're already registered to vote, and if in Florida, voter registration day already passed, so you better have already been registered to vote. Figure that stuff out. Here where I'm at in Oregon, you have until Tuesday to figure your stuff out. So.
And if you need to know, Adventure Man number 4 has all the states that you need to register to vote at the end.
Yes.
So I figure let's go ahead and get all of the X of Swords stuff out of the way.
Okay. Let me pull up my my files here. If anyone's coming from Instagram and saw my stuff, I had a big old stack this week. I have about 20. Not including a couple of variants and duplicates that I just picked up.
Also a quick thank you to Andrew from Comic Book Campaign. He did a little, I have a bunch of books I'm going to send to the CGC, and he had a bunch of Philadelphia number 1s that he was sending in. So ordered this, got a really good deal on it. Came back at 9.8. So thank you, Andrew, and for the prompt shipping. I know you and Rodney have a complicated relationship at best right now. But thank you. It's
like a enemy friendship.
How dare his internet go out in the middle of an interview?
I know.
You got lucky. He was focused on him when you jumped off.
I know, because whenever we did the interview, and I'm like, shit, my phone is running down. I'm literally at 3% battery. I'm like, is this interview chat gonna fucking end at any point? And my phone did not last. Luckily he was a lot nicer to me when I had to abruptly leave. So I appreciate it.
Okay. So Wolverine was the first part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of in love with the villain that they introduced. Or I don't even know if he's considered a villain at this point.
Yeah. What's his name?
Solemn.
I kept wanting to call him Solomon, or Solemn, but that is not the case. So I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, because even the people of Arakar hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been imprisoned. He killed War's husband. Pretty interesting character, and then you throw in the fact that he has a dagger that will send you instantly to hell.
Straight to hell.
I thought this was a pretty good issue.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the issue. I thought that since I haven't read the previous Wolverines, I'm just I hope that I didn't need to read those, and luckily I didn't. So anyone out there who has not read Wolverine, you should probably pick up the first 10 of Swords, and then make sure that you pick up the
X Factor was the next.
X Factor, and there was one more, right? Or was that it so far?
It was only two so far. The part where Wolverine's talking to Krakoa,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, "You dragged us into this shit. All we wanted was peace. I don't like you anymore."
Yeah. I thought that it was interesting. I don't know. I love this mythology that's forming with all of these blades or the blades and the swords that are coming up. I really like that we went into Wolvie's past, and I'm glad that we at least got one bub out of this issue, and it didn't go overboard with the bubs, because I feel like sometimes it does, where I just hear Wolverine say bub like 1,000 fucking times.
This was the very east of west feeling out of all of the issues, like very much so.
Especially because they talk about the tower falling or whatever. And I'm like, this reminds me of something. It reminds me of East of West. And I'm like, Hickman, you got me. And I don't know if you mentioned this already. Maybe you did. But as I've been reading this, and as I've been getting like the little Hickman dumps between, little moments, I keep getting flashbacks to us reading Dune and us and Princess Irulan. So I don't
foreboding.
So I don't know if we need to call it the Hickman dump or the Irulan dump.
I don't know if Irulan's is mainly a dump. Like, it always feels like it's flavor. I always call hers like flavor text, like they do on the Magic the Gathering cards, where it'll always have like an excerpt to be like, oh, I want to know more about this.
Yeah.
This was kind of light on the Hickman dumps. I mean, the stuff it did give you was pretty prevalent. This is an interesting question.
I just want to go ahead and say, hi, Matt. Matt is a friend from high school, and I absolutely adore you. I've talked like for a second about how one time someone told me never to get into single issues because they're addicting, and that was when I was in high school and I only read trade paperbacks. This dude is maybe a little bit responsible for me not heeding his warning for getting into single issues. So thank you for being here, Matt. I appreciate you.
I don't feel like Wolverine's been overly saturated like he was in the 90s. Like in the 90s, he was in fucking Fantastic Four. He was a member of the Fantastic Four.
Fun fact, Wolverine, even though he is perceived as a loner, has been in like every single, I think the most amount of team ups out of any X character. So, there you go, bub. You're a loner. A rebel and a loner.
There are a lot of X titles, and now I kind of feel like there's so many X titles because of Ten of Swords. Like this was in the plans the whole time.
I think I was thinking about this too, because like I mentioned earlier, I was like, I hope I don't need to read the previous Wolverines or any of like the other ones, because I'm not caught up on any of them. So luckily I didn't. But I was like, man, if this was Hickman's MO the entire time, I would be like, okay, if I need to pick up Wolverine as well, then I would definitely, you're welcome. What's
up, Rod?
Hello, Rod. It's good to see you. So I was thinking, I'm like, man, if this is gonna get me to like literally pick up every fucking title, because I'm not picking up all of them. I think I'm just picking
22.
Well, I know that it's gonna be 22 issues for the Ten of Swords, but outside of this, like, am I going to end up going back and like subscribing to every single title now? So
I'll never go back to Excalibur. Never.
Really? Well,
I hated it. Hellions also is pretty garbage. Like Cable, I picked up not expecting to like Cable, so like that's And I can't wait till his issue.
Yeah, because next week it's Cable 5. Next week is Cable 5 as part of the Ten of Swords. Yes. I do like that it's, 22 titles, and then the first week we got, 2? Or we got 1.
It was 1, then 1, now 3.
And 3, and then 2. So it's going to be a total of 11, and then I guess, I don't know if they're going to do like a little like mid-season break coming back to, so I don't know if they're going to end up doing something like that and then do the next half. So I'm curious to see what their publishing strategy is going to be.
So overall, I thought this was a strong issue. It gave a little bit of everything. Wolverine's skeleton dragging itself out of the lake of fire from hell.
And then just like coming up with I guess I got to do 3. Like,
and Muramasa, oh, Logan-san, help me.
Logan-san, I thought that was adorable. And I felt like Logan, I don't know if anyone watches Onyx the Fortuitous. There's like, notice me, senpai. And I just feel like there was a total moment with Wolverine and him with Muramasa. And
also, apparently Solemn could have broken out at any time. He was just like waiting to have fun.
Yeah, I love that chaotic neutral energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright,
But the next issue, Marauders. Nope, sorry,
It
I
went
got it.
X-Force.
Sorry, X-Force. Sorry, I'm like, wait, this isn't right. Yeah. So the next one, X-Force, I thought was pretty interesting because
Same writer.
it continued on with the Wolvie, but going back to Solemn, and like we get to see these like excellent moments with Muramasa in here.
Hottest forge ever's in hell.
In hell. And I seriously, I'm loving the mythology with this. I really just want to read. I know that like Hickman is just like scribbling all of this shit down, this whole world universe mythology that we will never get to see. Like, I want to fucking see it. Jonathan Hickman, hook me up.
The way this ended was fucking interesting as fuck because, like, basically him and Sala make a deal in hell. They don't say what it is, but Wolverine's like, well, I hope I don't have to pay this.
Yeah, and it's basically like, okay, like, did he have to kill someone? What did he have to do?
And I like how Magic, like, just waiting there with the sword in the ground.
Sorry.
It's funny because one of my former bosses at work was like, well, I don't see you anymore, so I keep up with your YouTube channels just so I can see what you're up to. And I was like, oh, no. And I was like, we've said some heinous shit, and you were like a very Christian man. Like, oh, no.
I mean, you can blame it all on me because I feel like I am like 90% responsible for some of the foulest shit to come onto the show. So, oops.
Well, he goes, you seem like you're doing a lot better with all your ladies on the show. And I was like,
you're like, they don't belong to me, sir.
It's not a harem.
Yeah.
It was just the music because I was like, okay, like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. I am doing better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, weird. Huh. I did, mentioning the end of X-Force, I really enjoyed this little part about Muramasa and the little, I don't know if you read this part, but the story about him just like with a wooden sword going through the grass like a kid would do, when you're a kid and you have like a cardboard tube and you're like, it's a sword. So I really enjoyed the story with him where he's just like cutting the grass and then with a wooden sword, and then he ends up killing a bird, but then brings it back to life. Like, this literally has nothing to do with the like actual story, but this just beautiful world building that I don't know if it was Jonathan Hickman who's responsible for that.
I think it's more to explain Muramasa, where he makes these horrible weapons, but at the same time he like believes in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, strong issue. Like Benjamin Percy wrote both of them, who writes Devil's Highway, which I've become a fan of on AWA Upshot. Now on to Marauders.
And I'm going to completely disagree with you on this one.
For me, I thought it was a letdown after those other two issues. Where, like, I'm not going to say the other two issues were fast-paced, but I felt there was more happening.
I would definitely say because the other two felt like, even just having them in my hand, they're like thinner, and this one was a little bit of a thick boy. And this one was written by Vita Ayala, and I really enjoy their writing. I really enjoyed The Wilds by Ayala. I really hope I'm pronouncing that.
I think it's Ayala.
So I really enjoy their writing, and I enjoyed this issue a lot. And maybe it's just because you had messaged me and you're like, I really didn't like Marauders. And then I maybe spite read it and I'm like, I'm going to like this whether I actually like it or not. But I really did enjoy it.
Well, my big thing was just like, so much happened in those Wolverine X-Force issues, and you got to this one, and the pacing just completely like offsets what I was just reading. I read them all in a row, and I'm just like, I don't know. And then like, just so much of, well, you can't have the sword, but I want the sword. Well, I want the sword, but you can't have the sword.
But I'm going to get it, and then at the end, my ex-husband's going to come along, and he's just going to be like, okay, I guess you can have it since you already have it. I understand that, but I enjoy
Like the only
it.
thing you ever miss it with her going, "Bitch, don't you know I was a thief?"
Yeah.
Like,
I really enjoyed it. I ended up I love Storm, and I ended up getting both of the covers. I enjoyed the
my
uh
favorite page was the last page.
why let me pull that one up. Oh, this one, I enjoyed this last panel down here. Is that what
Yes,
you're
that
referring
was my
to?
favorite.
Yeah, where Wolvie
Where-
and Magic are just kind of like hanging out, and they're like, okay, I guess we're just gonna wait for the other people to show up. Um, I
Where
really
we know
like,
one's Cable.
yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the moments between Storm and Shuri. I liked the, I don't know, I wouldn't know to call this a frenemy, a friend, enemy friendship, whatever it is, but it felt like there was a, like, I love you and I respect you, but I'm gonna have to tell you no. And Storm's just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do it anyways. I thought it was cute, but
Like I said, like compared to the other, I'm not saying it was a bad issue, but like it just after reading the other two, I was just like the pacing on this just took me completely like where I was like steamrolling through, and I'm like, oh well, this is gonna be this.
And then so Cable is the next one.
Yes.
And in that story, we've got a little bit of the. I wouldn't necessarily say you need to read it, but you probably already know the sword and like you know about the weapon.
Yeah, but
That he
if you
has.
have been reading Cable, like I 100% would tell you go buy the trade when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm strangely enjoying it. Like fuckboy Cable.
Fuckboy Cable, man, like who knew that? Like I don't know. He's not a tween, but I guess he's like a 20-something-year-old living with his parents, and I don't know. It's like it's wholesome, but it's not. I don't know. I
There's
did
that
dig
weird
it.
dynamic, and then there's like Emma Frost, like stay away from my girls.
Yeah, and he's like, I've already,
I can't
banged
even
all
get
three of them probably.
I can't even get their name straight.
Yeah.
Because that's like a constant running joke. Yes, Rod, it's really good. Like the Phil Noto art and like the writing on it, like it's fun, and that's a weird thing to say about Cable, that it's a fun book.
It really, I think it's the Cable that we needed, not the Cable that we deserve.
It's not what I do. So on to our weekly pick. Well, hold on. So overall for this week's X-Men or X of Swords, what would you give the rating for all three? Like just an across the board rating.
In my professional, humble opinion, I'd probably give it an 8.5. I feel like the first couple of issues were a lot of information, and not necessarily that it wasn't enjoyable, because I know that Hickman has to give me a lot of information and I appreciate it. Like just give me all the Hickman dump. Thank you. Please and thank you. So I feel like I enjoyed these three more than I enjoyed the other ones, actually.
I'm floating at about 7.5 to 8 on it. But they flowed, like especially the X-Force and Wolverine, like real fast. But again, when you have the same writer on both books,
yeah, it's going to be tonally different, but
yeah. So on to your first pick. Now that we're out of the X titles,
this was such a big week for me. Like seriously, there was so much going on. Like I said, I got 20 books, and it's so hard to figure out. I was like, this is going to be one of those weeks where I'm not going to contain it. So if you were here for only 3, you better buckle up, because there's a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to pick things that I don't think that you are going to talk about.
Also, Rod, thank you for mentioning us in the story and retweeting our story.
Yeah. I appreciate Rod. I appreciate you so much. Like seriously, just what you do for the community, and just you're so nice.
What's up, Comic Collector?
Hello, Comic Collector. Alrighty, so You know what? Let me actually talk about this one because I fucking loved this.
My Little Pony. Oh no.
Oh, well, that comes later. I did love My Little Pony, but I'll talk to you about that later. So Swamp Thing Halloween special. This did you end up picking this up? Did
I
you?
did. I liked the first story. There was a couple of clunkers in there, in my opinion. There, like one in particular, like the last one, I did not like.
I kind of get that. I just read Rom V's V Savage Shores, and it was kind of what I was expecting, but not what I was expecting. But I totally get it. But it wasn't what I was expecting. But I enjoyed it. So knowing that, and he did the first and last story. However, there is a story in here by Vita Ayala.
Ayala.
Ayala, with art by Emma Rios, and I fucking loved it. You may need to do a singing. You have a good voice. I do not.
We're doing community theater for Dune, so that's
We will. A lot of people say that you need they're like when it's karaoke comes up and they're like, I need to have a couple drinks in me to do karaoke. I have no shame, and I will do like the weakest ass karaoke. I appreciate you saying I have a good voice. I really appreciate that, because I think when I sing, I don't, but I don't give a shit because I just enjoy it. So thank you, Rod. I appreciate it. But back to Swamp Thing, there's a story by Vita that I really enjoyed, and the artwork by Emma Rios. Like this one, I think out of all of them, scared me. I got that spooky vibe. This one was the one that like really got to me. I thoroughly enjoyed that
Which story was that?
That was the story where it was set in. Let me go ahead and read it. It was Sleeping Giant, and it was the island formerly known as Borican.
The Japanese soldier.
No, this one was. I don't know if it would be like which like island it would be if they're talking about like Puerto Rico or they're like where they're talking about. It might be because it's called Borkin. That was the story that I enjoyed the most.
Okay, because the one with the Japanese guy who didn't know the soldier who didn't know the war was over and didn't believe that it was over, I thought that one was interesting.
Yeah. I dig the end of that one with Swampy there.
Yes.
So I did, I didn't enjoy this story as much, and maybe it's just because I really love Christian Ward's art, but I didn't connect with the story, but immediately I'm like, it's Christian Ward. I love this, and I just got lost in the artwork. So I love Swamp Thing, and I really think I keep going back and forth on like what's going to be my next tattoo, and I don't know if it's going to be a big old Klingon botlith. I don't know if it's going to be Swamp Thing. I don't know if it's going to be Batwoman. I really don't know, but Swamp Thing is on the list for sure. So anyways, for like my rating, because I always forget my rating. I apologize. I know you guys come here for the rating specifically, but for that, I would definitely, since I didn't connect with all the stories, I'd probably give it overall like an 8. But for this specific story with Emma Rios, I would give that one at like 9. I really enjoyed that story. Now on to your pick.
Mine is going to be an oddball, and like I picked this up just randomly, just because I was like, I don't know, let's just pick it up and see. Like, Getting It Together by Cinna Grace and Omar Spahi. So I had no idea what the fuck this book was. The cover even wasn't that endearing. But I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of like Cinna Grace. I'm like hit and miss, but I was like, I'll check it out because there was a little bit of discussion about it with him doing the Image book. And this book, like, literally kicked me in my feelings hard. Like, I've gone through a pretty rough year, and something going on with one of the characters just really, like, hit me in a very emotional place as I was reading it. Our friend Mars hated it with a passion because she said it reminded her of Friends.
I kind of get that. It's so funny because Nick at my local shop, Books with Pictures, I knew that I wanted to pick it up because I've read a couple things by Cinna Grace, and I actually just watched an interview with him on the Comic Lounge that was done, and I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and pick it up, even though the Sex and the City cover, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. And Nick at my local shop was like, it's a really good story about nothing, which, you know, is like Seinfeld. And I hate Friends, so I was like, but I really enjoyed it. I do feel like this is kind of that modern day, I don't know, I don't even want to call it millennial because I feel like that gets a bad rap, but yeah, I think this is going to introduce a whole bunch of people who are unaware of the term sounding. If you are not prepared for some X-rated stuff, please do not look up sounding.
There's two concurrent storylines. Basically, oh god, I can't remember his name. The brother. He's mainly the middle focus of it, because on one side it is this guy Sam and his sister who are going through a breakup.
Not Sam's sister. Sam
is the boyfriend,
ex-girlfriend, and in the middle, who's a mutual friend, is the brother of Sam.
Lauren. Yeah, Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren is his sister who is dating Sam.
Yeah.
And while their relationship is like beyond fucked up, this dude who is, I guess he's kind of our way in, our POV to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
He is going out on dates, and he meets a guy and starts into kind of a relationship, and then finds out they have a mutual acquaintance who was fucking this dude, and find out how shady the guy is. It's high drama, but weirdly, it's written very, very well.
So well that like seriously, this could be any other drama, and I wouldn't even think about it. But I want to know where all of the characters go, and in that Game of Thrones way, you know that they're all like morally gray. Some of them are very morally just shitty characters. You know it. But some of them are good, but they've done bad things. So
it doesn't talk down to you either.
No.
The one thing that I'm kind of weird about is like the character Lauren, how she's so like, yeah, I did it. What of it?
Yeah, and it was so anyways, for anyone who like kind of wants to know getting it together. So yes, Sam and Lauren were dating. At the beginning of the story, you hear Sam telling what's his name? The guy, the other guy. God damn it, I should know about their breakup. And Jesus, I should.
Jack.
Okay. I feel like this is one of those weird 90s songs. So anyways, Lauren and Sam are dating. At the beginning, you meet Sam, who's very sad that Lauren just broke up with him, and Jack is listening to Sam just be very sad about it. And then Jack is Sam's brother, then
Lauren's brother.
Lauren's brother, and then goes to Lauren, and Lauren's just like, excuse me, we opened up our relationship, but I guess I did kind of fuck that up. And it was like, I think through so then it goes back and forth between like, okay, we did open it up, but she like technically cheated on me. Like normally I would not give a shit about anyone's drama like this, but it is so beautifully written. And Lauren's in a band, and you feel kind of like, even though she's a shitty character, obviously, like you still kind of want to follow her. And I'm interested to see like where that goes. And then you're seeing Jack, who is queer, like in his relationship, and like the morally gray character that he seems to be dating. I don't know.
And then you'll find out what sounding is.
And then if you want to, I don't think it'll Did it specifically tell you?
It goes into very brief detail of what it is, and it's kind of and it's kind of like a, would you like to know more? Here's the internet.
Yeah. So don't
beware.
You are at your own risk for looking up what sounding is, but I kind of appreciate this book a lot. I hope that it does in the way that books like Safe Sex and Sex Criminals and like how those stories are very like sex positive and like give us little tidbits, like, you know, maybe this next episode will like give us a diagram on how to put on a condom, like, or, you know, things like that.
What I do love, again, like, it doesn't talk down to the reader. It treats you like an adult. And also, the other thing is, nobody is written like the villain.
No, like everyone's morally gray, but you still want to follow them and you're interested to hear their side. And I think that we're going to see how because I think initially you think that Sam is the good guy, and I'm curious to see how maybe he's not.
Oh no, at the end of the book you get the, like, he's ready to start a war.
Yeah.
And Jack's like, hey, like, let's just chill out.
Yeah.
Because he accidentally sends a message saying who Lauren slept with, and also you learn don't have two chat windows open at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially when your boyfriend's there to get some daytime
distract you. Yeah.
Lauren did kind of come off like a driven bitch, but I'm sure there's going to be an issue that kind of goes into her thinking, because she really didn't get a whole lot of time in this.
I feel like we did see Lauren's side in this book, but it was kind of like, okay, she's in a band, and then like there's one point where her and her bandmate are talking, and it's just like, let's just fucking rock out, and they do their thing, and I don't know. I just thought that was fun.
This was a solid 8 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Would this be for everyone? No. I don't know. Again, like, I didn't even know this was something I needed or wanted. I just picked it up randomly, and I was like, hey, wow, this is good. And again, like, our friend Mars hated the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And this might be you need to be in the mood. But go pick it up if you're interested in what we talked about. This could end up being a better trade when it comes out. But leave it up to you. But at least check out issue 1 if you get a chance.
For sure.
Hey, John. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, John. And I just have to say really quick, because John just entered the chat. John has entered the chat. Player one. Every single Saturday, John does a show with his kids. It is literally like this morning. I woke up like stupid early, like at like 5 o'clock on my fucking day off. But anyways, I was awake, and John's, I'm usually up at that time, but on my day off, that's kind of sucks. But anyways, I was up and I got to watch John's show, which he does every Saturday morning with his kids, and it is so delightful. I love hearing John's thoughts. I love hearing Kate and Charlie's thoughts on, like, seriously, this morning they talked about their team up, their like 5 picks that they would pick for like to save the universe, like across all like everything. It was precious. I absolutely adored it. So anyways, I just have to talk about that really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about my next pick, which kind of related to Getting It Together, Lonely Receiver number 2. I don't know if we talked about this one, if I talked about issue number 1. I know you're like shaking your head, but whatever. I really enjoyed it.
I tried it again, and like, it's not vibing for me.
I was going to say, I know that like there's reasons why things in Getting It Together connected for you. And I can definitely understand how this book just doesn't feel like a good book for that reason. But I think that this book is giving such an interesting perspective on like dating apps and what dating looks like in the modern world and what it could look like in like a Black Mirror dystopian future. So basically,
2020.
Yeah, so basically like 2020. In this book, and I apologize for getting the main character's name, but they get broken up with from their little like device, like if Siri or Alexa was your girlfriend and they broke up with you all of a sudden, and it's not allowed to do that, and you're supposed to get a refund, and this thing is your basically it does everything for you. It's your identity, and it just all of a sudden breaks up with you. And what it looks like for this person to not just be going through a breakup, but for them to be going through like an identity crisis, while also, since this device or this like AI left them, basically broke up with them, they now have to use a paper birth certificate, social security card. And in this world, it's like, how retro, how weird. You can't do that. Why don't you just use your device? Oh, it broke up with me. So I thought this one was really interesting. I can't wait to see where this goes. I want this one to break my heart.
It's kind of like that movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. I actually hated that movie so much, but maybe if you hated Her, you might like this. I don't know. But I would give it a like 7.5. Next.
So American Vampire 76. I've waited.
Okay, next. I'm just
2 years, I guess, for this. Apparently Skinner Sweet became Evel Knievel. He's mortal. I felt lost reading it because it's been so long. I forgot what happened.
You know,
from the last run.
I'm so glad you said that, because I felt lost and I didn't I think I've read a couple of the issues and like tried to get through the first trade, and I get it, but
once Pearl shows up, I was happy.
Yeah.
Also, disco vampires getting killed from solar light, bounced off the disco lights. I'm kind of here for it. I was like, oh, this was Blade before Blade.
Yeah.
Except without the blood rave. This was middling for me. Like, I liked it. I didn't love it. So I'm like 6-ish on it.
I probably won't be picking up issue 2. So if you end up hate reading this, I'll need to find out from you, because I'm not going to hate read another book. My favorite part, though, is like he's
the big albino gator.
Yeah.
Crocodile.
That was probably like the only thing that I was like, okay, I mildly enjoy this, but
I kind of now feel like I need to go back and read the last run just so I can kind of remember what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Because I remember they were in space at one point. Like, I really don't remember a whole lot. And that was the same problem I had with, I think it was Black Magic, where I forgot because it had been so long what happened in the past issues.
Yeah.
So possibly after kind of getting fresh again, I'll enjoy it more. But again, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It just, I was trying to fill in the blanks of what I forgot, like Memento, and I'm not tattooing on my arm, like what just happened.
For sure.
Yeah, like 6-ish on it. Just, it's weird because I like was looking forward to it for so long. It's like, finally it's coming back. And I'm like, am I going to be like this with witches? Yeah. Oh, fuck.
I'm kind of sad because I have a lot of the American Vampire single issues that I actually never read. And I'm like, it's actually in my, I have 3 long boxes of single issues that I'm planning on selling. And the American Vampire run is definitely part of that. So I'm like, man, this issue was so shitty. Is that going to make the value go down? So if anyone wants to buy American Vampire, like most of the run,
just go ahead and do a live auction on your channel.
Yeah, I don't even know how to do that. I feel like I'm barely getting used to just live talking about a single subject.
Claim sale.
Claim sale. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Your next one.
Alrighty. So my next one, and I'm pretty sure you probably read this one. It's Decorum. Issue number, what are we on? 5?
3 more to go. It's a thick boy.
It is, unnecessarily. This one is probably, I did read Hickman's Manhattan Projects, And I think I'm slowly realizing that I don't actually like decorum. This issue kind of got somewhere, but really didn't do anything for me. And considering that I feel like we didn't even get anywhere until issue 3, and then now we're kind of getting somewhere, but we're not. I feel like Decorum so far could have easily been a 4-issue comic book, and that's it. Most of this, I feel like it's thick, but a lot of it's just like 2 splash pages put next to each other. Like,
I'm completely charmed by. I'm completely charmed by Niha.
Yes.
Like how much of a fuck up she is and everything.
Yeah. I do like, I like the character, but I just feel like I expected more, and I didn't love it. I don't know. I think that I gave this a lot more hope than it deserved. I'm probably going to give this issue like a 6 out of 10. Sorry.
That's fair. I'm again, I didn't love it, but like everything with like they kept jumping ahead like year 2 with Niha, and she still can't get the weapons right. She can't.
And every time someone gets killed, she just vomits.
Yes.
And then finally she's able to kill someone, and she still like vomits.
And the teacher's like, "Could you not do that on my boots?"
Yeah.
And then dressed up like the Buccaneer and stuff. I don't know. Like it just there was cuteness to it, and that kind of like won me over. So now I'm going to self-inflict harm on myself. Batman number 100. So basically, this was a lead up to promote other series. They literally, the last 10 pages promote other series is coming out. Like Clown Hunter.
Yeah.
Who's apparently like a little Vietnamese kid.
And Punchline, did they advertise Punchline?
Oh, they sure as fuck did.
Yeah.
She is now like online posting videos, and she became like a media darling from the trial. And her name's Alexis K, and she puts out a nice little video of herself talking about how the Joker corrupted her and all this other shit. And then it says, Punchline number 1 coming out soon.
It makes me so sad because I feel like now that Harley Quinn has been liberated from the Joker, and they were like, oh, let's just insert another, I don't know, Harley Quinn in there, and it's not doing it for me.
Harley did shoot the Joker's eye out. She shot him.
I guess that's, I'll take it.
Punchline fights Nightwing for a bit, and he like punches her a couple of times, kind of beats the shit out of her. And weirdly, she doesn't have the "I'm a joke, you're the punchline, you're the joke, I'm the punchline" talk. She retired that finally.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be brought back, just like we get Martha Wayne's pearls. I'm sure that Punchline and Clown Killer are really just going to end up being another Batman origin story at this point.
Probably. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of like anything fantastic in this. Like the art was nice, but overall, like just blah.
Yeah.
I'll give it a little higher just because of the art at a 7, but like literally, and they introduce, of course, a new character at the end, the Ghost Maker, who apparently knows Bruce. He had cubic zirconium drop on the ground when his mom was shot, I'm sure.
That makes a lot of sense. There's like a weird Steven Universe parallel universe with like pearls and rubies and garnet and sapphire with Martha Wayne's pearls. That's the crossover that I'm also here to write. DC.
His mother's name was Margaret.
Margaret. Yeah.
What's your name, Margaret?
Maggie. Your mom's name is Maggie?
Where's the trigger? Where is it? Well, that was a choice by Christian Bale. That was a real fucking choice. Yeah, I did not love this. I did not love this, which is weird because James Tynion kind of had me excited because of his horror books, and apparently he can write horror books very well, but he doesn't write Batman well either.
Yeah.
Where's that Curb Your Enthusiasm music? Your next pick.
I'm not sure which one I want to get because I do have a ton. But I know we're going to talk about The Crow, so I don't want to talk about all the other stuff that I read. Let me go ahead and so no, I'm not going to. Sorry, I'm having like an existential crisis looking at this stack. You know, this book has been solid for me, and I feel like it's underappreciated. The Dreaming Waking Hours. I've really been enjoying a lot of the Sandman universe. Obviously, because Sandman's one of my absolute just favorites, and I really love the like 4 or 5 series we've been getting from this. This one I've really been digging. This one gets really personal, especially at the beginning, and goes through the main characters' very personal tragedies. And basically what they have to do is figure out like who the real William Shakespeare is, and then they can like leave the universe. So that's what they're trying to do. And it's adorable, and I really like it, while also being very adult and very mature conversations, but while simultaneously being very cute. So I really like it. It's written by G. Willow Wilson, which I really enjoy their writing.
I read it. It's not my favorite. It's not bad, but it's okay. Like it doesn't move the needle much for me. But it's okay.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see how, it's not going to be for everyone, but I like it, and I think that one is going to be one that does better in trade. I think it'll move faster for people. So
probably. Let's see. I guess that means you gotta go. Thanks for stopping by, Ron. Appreciate it as always. You're always such a great supporter of us, and I can't wait to have you and John on the show for episode 100. So Lock and Key in Pale Battalions #2.
Oh. I got that in my stack.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there was a lot. Sorry, go on with your thoughts, and then I'll tell you mine.
It was nice seeing all of the keys being used, and seeing the kid from issue 1 coming back into it. A lot of time with the Germans, which I was not expecting.
Yeah.
It ends on a very, very tragic note, a very unexpected note.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, it's hard to talk about without spoiling stuff on it, but also they show how like liberal the Nazis were using chemical weapons.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at about a 7.5, 8 on it.
I feel like this one was not weird, but it was kind of a tonal shift. I still enjoyed it, but not as much as issue 1. I think issue 1 just really blew me away because of how much I just didn't like the artwork for volume 1, and not having read anything else. And I enjoyed it, but this one didn't get me the way that the first issue did.
Fair enough. Your next book.
Oh, I was like, that was my next book. Let me go ahead and see. I know that we're going to talk about this one, or I would imagine that you would talk about this one. Die, number 14.
Yes. Some interesting back and forths in the beginning of the issue between Ash and Zamoma.
Yeah. So that was really good. I really enjoyed because we know a certain character I think is facing their mortality, and in a really this character is very, very much a like chaotic evil type character. And I don't know if this is a what am I trying to say, redemption for them, or like if they're trying to like play that character arc, but
it could be looked at as a redemption arc.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end, I really just enjoy what's going on with the Grief Knight. So I really enjoyed this. I think with the way that the volumes are going, this one is going to be the last one in the third arc, right?
Because
it would be 5, 10, 15, or did it
so
go
one more?
6?
It'll be one more.
Okay, so this one's the one before the final one. So the next one's going to be the final one. So I'm curious how they're going to like kind of wrap this up.
It's going to be another literary character coming in, probably.
Yeah. Well. Okay. I honestly.
That's my guess.
Yeah, I was reading this, and I was, to be completely honest, I want Die to end. I feel like I get where this is going, but I don't know how much I can enjoy just more. I feel like it's almost become formulaic at this point, and I feel like we can maybe get like one more volume, like maybe 5 more issues after.
See, I felt by 25 it'll be, although 20 issues, 20-sided die would make sense.
Ooh, okay. Okay, Sydney, with your like numbers. Sorry, I had to shift things up because I got a little kitten over here wanting my attention. So I do think I'm ready for Die to die. I want it to die a hero instead of becoming the villain. I would give it a solid, for me. I liked this issue. I think that I would give it a solid 7.5. Maybe a 7 3/4.
So considering I think I fell asleep while reading it because I didn't remember like what happened, and I read when I get home from work, so sometimes it'll be like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. after working all night. The beginning of the book is what I clung to, and the second half of it I totally forgot. Like we sat down, I was like, I don't remember what happened. So I'm gonna have to go with like a 6.5 because I like literally don't remember. But the beginning parts with Zamoma and Ash, and how even under her thrall with the dictator power, he still can get at her because he's that fucking manipulative.
Yeah. Which
very interesting with the back and forth between them. Like,
yeah, it feels kind of sucky, but I think it's gonna go somewhere, and I think it's gonna work out. But in the meantime, I hate it.
Yeah, and the fact that the Brontes like created Zamoma.
Yeah.
Basically. So my next pick is We Only Find Them When They're Dead, number 2.
That one, I thought I had it in my stack and then didn't get it. Completely forgot about it. So no spoilers, but let me know if
it revealed a little bit more, but un petit. There is some interesting parts to it. It was enough to make me want to keep picking it up. Okay. But again, it's not a meal; it's a morsel.
Okay, I was gonna say, I know that the first issue I enjoyed it because I feel like it's getting somewhere, but it was like I wanted more from it, and I
felt the same after this issue where like it gave me a little bit, but I was like, come the fuck on, like it's gonna decorum. I think by like issue 3 or 4, it's gonna like hit its track.
Got it.
I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
The art was nice. Like it's very colorful. Like the colors pop.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain point, it almost felt like an anime at some parts.
That's how I feel. Like, it reminds me of Gundam a little bit. So we'll see.
Your next book.
Let me go ahead and I had to put my stack down whenever it's over here now. Let me go ahead. What did I really, really enjoy? That one's a duplicate. Let me talk about this one because I feel like we do talk about this one quite often on the show. Coffin Bound. This issue for me.
Fucking hated it.
You know, you described the previous issue and you were just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't get it. And this issue, that's exactly how I felt.
This had none of the characters that we've been introduced.
No. And because the first volume was 4 issues, and this is issue 7, so it should technically be the end or almost to the end of the second arc of what's going on, and I don't feel like it's there. I almost wish that this was a different series in the same world instead of calling it the same thing. We see some familiar characters, and we see some, like, what was her name? Something Entropy. So I dig that, but even the artwork style.
What bugged me, issue 5 was so solid. When it came back, I was like, all right, like, I'm on board again. This, and then it just started to fall apart for me. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah. I'm digging Madam Entropy. I really I like this, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's not doing it for me. I'll still probably pick it up in trade. I'll still probably pick up the 8th issue, but this one was like a 5 for me, and that's low for me. Like, that's almost like a 1.
I'm far lower.
What?
Like, it's a 2. I hated it that much. Like, I fucking despised it.
Yeah.
Much like I despised my next book.
Which I'm curious which one's going to be.
Going against my better judgment. And this is where Gambit would reach across the table and smack me. Snake Eyes Dead Game number 2. I don't know why I did it.
I feel like at this point,
it's trash.
I'm okay with you hating it because you hated the first one. Like, just allow yourself to hate it and move on. But then again, we both read Mercy, so we don't know how to quit. We don't know when to quit. I wish I knew how to quit you.
The writing's garbage, and I'm just like, what? Why am I even doing this? Like, literally, they're still ripping off Frank Miller, his Daredevil run. Like, it just, oh God, so, like, no, just no. That's my review of it. Hey, yeah. Vigilante, long time no see on the show, buddy. I gotta catch up the backlog of your show with Stay Puft. Like, I'm too far behind, and you're doing all the movies I love.
What was the movie that you did? Was it last night that you guys did? I don't think I didn't catch it, or is it tonight? I forget. But I was excited for whatever movie it was. I'm like, I want to watch that.
Yeah, I gotta just sit down on one of my day off and put it on, at least in the background. So, like, when I'm reading Dune, I can at least have that on.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and
speed run.
But first, I want to go ahead and I do want to go into a little bit about this. Enjoy it. I like, not even a guilty pleasure. It's just a Constantine. That was it from 2005. So yeah, I need to watch.
Wow, you knew that date quick.
Well, because he posted it, so and I was like, wow, 15 years, or maybe it was I don't know, whatever. So anyways, Transformers, My Little Pony, Friendship in Disguise. I really this is so wholesome and it's so cute and not even a guilty pleasure read. I really enjoy it. I will probably buy the trade of this when it comes out. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it on my shelf, but okay. So can we ever turn towards yeah. It's so adorable. They like go on a race to see who's the quickest. Oh my God, it's seriously, like, it's adorable. Okay, seriously, speed going through these. No One's Rose, number 5, finished up the series. Of course, I'm dropping it everywhere. This one by oh my goodness, Zach Thompson, who also did Lonely Receiver. So seriously enjoying that. This one was a good one. This one's definitely going to be, in my opinion, better in trade than the single issue reads were, but it was enjoyable. I felt like I had, okay, so Inkblot, I feel like I had no clue what was going on in the first one, and I had no clue what was going on in the second one, but I think that that's, now
But
that I
Inkblot's
get,
so adorable.
it's
The
so
cat.
adorable, and I think that that's the point. Like, there's not just one story, it's going to be multiple stories, and it's really just about the cat. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just about the cat, and that's adorable. So that was cute. I got the variant edition for Marauders with Storm on it, so that we already talked about. Black Widow number 2, I did not like the first one. Not really digging the second one. Oops.
Nice Adam
We
Hughes
talked
cover.
about, yeah. I know we talked about this one for a pinch. Adventure Man 4. I felt a little bit lost at moments whenever they were going back and forth between the Adventure Man world.
So did this feel like a Terry Dodson art jerk-off issue? Because
Yeah.
literally it was just like, hey, we're going to have her in all these different positions, and like
Yeah.
like Caitlin Fairchild back on the Gen 13 days.
You know, I really like, I enjoy the artwork, but I feel like Matt Fraction, like
Took a backseat in this issue.
yeah, I wasn't digging it as much. So we'll see where this one goes. Far Sector 8 is just such a solid series. N.K. Jemisin and Jamal Campbell, like, it's so beautiful. I dig it a lot. I never thought that I would be into a Green Lantern title, but here I am digging Green Lantern.
CSRS from IDW. I did not pick that up, or or it's not. Is it out yet? CSRS. I don't remember seeing it, but my shop is really bad about. Miskatonic from Aftershock. I know I have Gaga or Giga.
Yeah.
Giga for on my list.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, they're still to come out.
Okay. I'm sorry.
There's a book that I've been really fucking enjoying, that like the Alien original screenplay issues by from the Dan O'Bannon, the original script. I've really been fucking liking, like, just the differences from the original, like, or what we saw in theaters to what the screenplay was. I've really enjoyed. And then, you know, also thinking Dan O'Bannon was kidnapped by Jodorowsky.
Yeah.
Just weird, an aside. And then I spent $20 on this.
Woo.
But Inagli, like, that's just a great cover. I'm done.
Oh, so I got this Sonic Takeda.
I got that one variant as well.
And then let me
both
go ahead.
Both the Quorum covers were ugly, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the one cover that I got. To me, it's a bit better when you take a look at it once it's folded open. Okay, so Marvel Snapshots. I didn't enjoy this one at all.
Were there pearls?
No, I mean...
Did Uncle Ben wrestle a bear? Is that what killed him?
No. Oh. I hated this one so much. And maybe it's just because I thoroughly enjoyed. I've never really liked Cyclops as a character, but I really enjoyed.
What's up, Mike?
Hello. I really enjoyed the first.
Cyclops.
Yeah, Cyclops. Did not enjoy this one. So who's next on here? I thought Iron Man was going to be next, but it was Spider-Man. Okay, maybe it is going to be. I don't know. It says next and it shows Iron Man, but it showed that in the first volume, so I thought that we were going to get Iron Man next, and lie detector test determined that was a lie. So anyways, maybe that's where my disappointment lied. And anyways, so Spy Island, I really enjoyed the first issue. Did not enjoy the second issue nearly as much. what's her name, who wrote this, also wrote, what's her name? Why am I blanking? Is it Chelsea Kane? So Chelsea Kane wrote Man-Eaters, and I feel like whenever she wrote Man-Eaters, she did that thing, not copying,
She
but
did a lot of things.
She did a lot of things, but what I'm specifically talking about is with Man-Eaters. I feel like she was copying how Bitch Planet did the like advertisements in it. And so she did it in Man-Eaters, and then I feel like she's now doing it in this, and I feel like we got a lot more of like the back is like advertisement for suntan lotion or something, and then there's like little, I don't know, whatever. I'm not digging it. I really enjoyed the first issue.
I remember you liked it a lot.
And it's so sad because this issue, I'm teetering on thinking about not getting it again. So we'll see.
Ferengian on Dan O'Bannon, he did Return of the Living Dead, which is like one of my favorite zombie horror movies. And there's a documentary about it on YouTube that someone dumped from, I guess, one of the special editions. It's like almost 2 hours. And he's a fucking lunatic. Like, they talk to the cast and stuff, like one of the girls came over for the table read with him, and he was like playing with a gun. It was like very Phil Spector-ish. Interesting documentary, though. But Dan O'Bannon was one of those guys during that time who, between, Jodorowsky getting him high and kidnapping him in Paris, and then going and doing Alien, and had a pretty long history.
Yeah.
Till he died. On my hot garbage list of stuff that I read, everything having to do with Outlawed, that Marvel thing with the teen superheroes, fucking horrible. Champions was terrible. Miss Marvel was terrible. Miles Morales, Spider-Man was terrible. Like, it just fucking sucked. It's Marvel going, what can we do? Let's do Civil War for teens. Fucking awesome. Nailed it. I hate it.
I feel like
hated every last issue of it.
That could easily have been like wholesome for like jaded adults like me, but I don't know. I feel like that was the same direction that they went with Wonder Woman 84, and I did not like it at all. Atlantis was built for tourists by Scout. It's funny that you mentioned that, because no, I didn't. I have not read it, and that's my dumbass fault, because I bought it like a month ago and still haven't. But there was a lot that came out from Scout that, like, what was the other one? It Eats What Feeds It. I have been really enjoying Yasmin. What else? Gut Ghost by Scout is one of my favorite books. Gut Ghost. If you are not on Gut Ghost, and you're like reading Scout comics, highly recommend Gut Ghost. Can I say Gut Ghost one more time? Like, this is a paid sponsorship.
I haven't read it.
By Gut Ghost, and I really enjoy it. I know you asked about Atlantis. Atlantis wasn't built for tourists. I have not read it. Did buy it though, so we'll see if I end up reading it when I do.
Glad I don't have money for experiments after all the Dune variant covers that I pre-ordered. Jen got the 1 in 100 ordered.
Thank you. Shout out to Books with Pictures. You're amazing, and I want everyone, if you're going to buy the regular version, go to Books with Pictures and buy, because they literally ordered, in order to get the 1 out of 100 variant, you have to buy 100 of the cover A in order to get the 1 variant, and they did that for me. So I feel like I know I'm going to buy like 10 copies of the A cover just because I want this 1 in 100 Paul Pope cover. So if you need a copy, you know where to find me.
I'm sure Sid will, because she's poor right now.
Yeah. I will 100% get one.
So also, like, the issue 2 tease for one of the covers has the old Duke and the bull. It's gonna get the horns. Which we keep reading about the old Duke and the bull currently in our Dune overread, which we're finishing the first book this week.
The
the first
yeah.
part of the book, the Book of Paul. It's like a Bible almost. We have the Book of Paul, the Book of Muad'Dib.
All written by your girl, Princess Errol.
Yes. And we'll be doing that Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific with the Spice Girls. Okay, so let's talk about
The Crow.
A lot of nostalgia.
For sure.
How does this work for Halloween Horror Month? It's set on Halloween.
Yeah.
Devil's Night. You got a fire that's gonna make the gods notice.
I have a lot of thoughts about this rewatch of The Crow because we were watching.
That's not cool, Vigilante. Don't bring up the whole delay thing. Triggered.
So sad.
Okay, go. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So we watched The Crow. I think we both ended up watching The Crow after we watched Cursed movies a couple months ago.
Currently on AMC. They're showing it on there instead of Shudder. Okay. Please watch this episode about The Crow, though, because I can't watch the movie now without now knowing where Brandon Lee got shot and died.
Yeah. So I think that whenever I watched the movie a couple months ago after watching that, like I was in a completely different headspace, or maybe I was analyzing in a completely different way. And then because I started watching it last night and then finished watching it this morning. And I feel like I came away with a completely different perspective than I would have when I watched it like 15, 17 years ago, and then came away with a completely different perspective than I did even 2-3 months ago. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I want to see a remake. Come at me. Come at me, bro.
One thing I noticed, the fight choreography was very sloppy. Like the Tintin fight at the beginning, like I thought just wasn't very good. So the needle drop sound, like songs, still awesome. Like timing and some of the shots were very good. And I started I did the thing while I was watching. I go, would Brandon Lee have been a star after this? Like, I can't tell. The movie was big, but would he have had staying power?
That I'm not sure of, and honestly, I don't think that the acting in it was very good.
Yeah.
It was actually atrocious in a lot of points. So, and I think that I would be very, very on board with a remake if they kept the same soundtrack. Like if they tried to pull like whatever modern, what they think is like goth or grungy music, if they did anything like that, I would be like, I'm not into it. Only
can't rain all the time.
It can't rain all the time. I live in Portland, Oregon, and apparently, yes, it can. For like 6 months, it can rain all the time. But I enjoyed it. I do think that it would be I would love to see a remake. And I know that probably sounds awful, especially considering the tragedy of Brandon Lee. And I can't recall the other.
There was a guy on set who died during it. Because that, again, like the Cursed films, if you watch it, like, they really put the director on the fucking spot. And they're like, well, when Brandon, you took him to the hospital, and he's like, don't make me do this. Like, don't make me go through this again. Yeah, and like, literally, there is pain in his face. Like, he literally... like he's broken. And then talked to Michael Berryman, who his scenes didn't show up in it, and he was talking about how because North Carolina had different labor rules, that they didn't go with the union guys and got some fucknut from the boonies to be their weapons guy, and they explain how the weapon could misfire even with a blank and just lodge a metal slug into the chest. And they explained the scene when it happened. So now I'm watching it going, that's where he got shot and died.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, I don't know. I know that's probably like, I don't know, too sensitive, too soon for me to say that it would be a good remake, but I think that
they've been trying. I mean, Jason Momoa was going to be in it.
I honestly think that he would be such. I was watching this, and I think that he would be such a good. What's his name? Oh my god, I can't even think of the main character's name. I can't
Eric
even think
Draven.
of Eric Draven. Thank you.
Which is funny because in the comic, his name was supposed to be Eric D. Raven, and they forgot the period, so he became Draven.
You win some, you lose some.
It would be interesting to see like this. I was like, leather pants brought to you by 9 Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm. I also think as I was watching it, I was like, man, I feel like this could be set somewhere in Gotham. And then when I was watching the scene, whenever I can't think of the character's name, is basically saying, we're going to light the biggest fire the North has ever seen, or whatever it is. That
Not the North.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to light a fire so big that even the gods will notice us again. I'm Michael Wincott. I smoke.
Which everyone smoked in that fucking movie. So
and of course, Bai Ling's in it, so you know it's bad.
Oh,
pretty eyes.
No, I love Bai Ling. I am a fucking Bai Ling stan. And if you have not watched Southland Tales, but that's not my point right here. So as I was
Crank
watching,
2.
So as I was watching this, I was like, man, this feels like Gotham to me. And then during that scene where he's like, we're going to light a fire that the gods can see, I was like, he's the Joker and Eric Draven
is the punchline?
Is the Batman. No, this is an alternate version Batman.
I do love the 90s stereotype where every bad guy has to be ethnic.
Well, I mean, that's in like every fucking movie ever. And I would love to make a point about how great Lovecraft Country is because it's very subtle, but all the white people in it are pieces of shit. And could you imagine being a black person or a person of color? Every single movie that you've ever watched ever, the only people that like look like you get to play are maids and servants and thugs and criminals. And in Lovecraft Country, it is like flipped script. All of the white people are villains, and like Lovecraft Country is incredible. Highly recommend it. But I'm gonna go back to my point that The Crow is alternate universe Batman.
It's as a high schooler when it came out originally, watching it, I like weirdly didn't remember the rape as much as like I'm watching it now and I'm like,
yeah,
there's a lot of fucking rape in it, and then bragging about raping his fiance, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
And that's why I think I'm totally like, I was watching that and I'm like, I think that I would be totally okay with a remake. But then I was thinking like, okay, if it was remade, what gets cut and what stays? And I think that completely needs to be cut. Like there doesn't need to be any rape scenes in it. And I think it's especially triggering for anyone who's experienced that because the scenes are shot from a point of view from the victim. And that doesn't ever need to happen.
And like I felt like killing her would be enough.
Well, I mean, then we're going into like Fridged Girlfriend. Thank you.
Well, would you rather have the rape or just the like they're not agreeing and we're killing them?
What if I told you there could be neither?
Well, where's the tragedy?
If a writer? Well, okay, so then does it have to happen to the girlfriend like it happens in every fucking movie? Like at this point, that's the entire like world's version of Batman's mom dying with pearls. Like,
well, here's my new Crow version.
Write something different. Come up with a different fucking idea because a girlfriend doesn't have to be fridged in order to make a fucking point that there's villains in the story or so the main character can have some sad fucking feelings and to motivate the plot line. What if she leaves him of her own choice? What if like it's bad writing at this point, and it's lazy writing at this point.
What if David Carradine comes back as the Crow to go against the rope makers from when he autoerotic asphyxiated himself? There's no victim.
There you go. Kill Bill, Volume 3. Now, and
I know a clip I'm cutting for this week.
Yep.
Oh, if it only come out your nose.
Only, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
again,
I don't know if that's necessarily a hot take, but you know, seriously, at this point, I think that there's a lot of stuff that can be taken out from the movie, and it can still be a fantastic movie. I don't think that the girlfriend needs to be fridged, killed, raped, any of that.
So also, I'm old, so I grew up during this time when this released, and this was like a tentpole movie. Like, this influenced like culture a little bit, where like goth suddenly became kind of acceptable, and there were people like myself who were like, "You fucking fakes, get the fuck out of here."
It's
Is that gatekeeping? But like,
yeah,
a little bit.
like iron rot gatekeeping, maybe. It's funny because I was thinking about like back to who I was in high school and the like type of music that I listened to, and I think that the same is true of comics culture, where it's like people typically who like comic books are the nerds and the geeks and whatever, and in order to and you're, you know, often laughed at, often looked down upon, whatever. In order for you to keep your culture, you have to like be like, I'm going to be very exclusive on who I let in. So that's where the gatekeeping comes in, because you're like, I'm not going to let someone into this who may hurt me. And I feel like as a young goth girl, I was very much that person. I'm like, if you don't listen to the old school goth music like The Cure and Sisters of Mercy and Bauhaus and Susie and the Banshees, like if you don't listen to that type of music, you're not a real goth. Like, and so I think that so hot take opinion, thinking about the way that this movie influenced culture so much, is the Twilight movies, that generation's
The acting
Crow.
is almost the same.
And the soundtrack slapped to Twilight. That is the only like credit I will give those movies, is that the soundtrack slapped.
The only thing I'd say about my time during those years, I have big hair. Like, I don't know if you can
during
see.
That time. Oh my gosh.
That is from that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, so that was my like skinny puppy keyboardist look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really big in the front 242 around that time in KMFDM.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I think that was taken minutes before I went to go see Ministry and got my nose broken. It's a fun night.
Yeah.
Sepultura opened.
I was gonna say I grew up very poor, and I grew up very like hours, like 5 hours away from like any musicians that would come by. So I was never that person that I could never afford to go see like bands and stuff like that. So I feel like I missed out on that era, like seeing any acts like that. So
well, I live close enough to Orlando, so
yeah.
That kinda...
Yeah.
I guess I'm like trying to take my nostalgia out of it. Like, I feel like it's like a 5.5, 6.
Maybe this is influenced by the nostalgia too much. I'm still gonna give it like a 7. Even with like literally changing how I would change half the movie if it was The Crow directed by Jennifer, I would still I would give it a lot more than it probably deserves. So what's gonna be our movie for this upcoming week? I have 2 suggestions, but
let's hear your suggestions.
okay. Beetlejuice or The Reanimator?
Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
We could do both. I mean,
I don't know. Reanimator will take a lot of my time to digest. It's been a long time since I've seen that, since I snuck into my parents' room while they were asleep and watched it on HBO.
oh gosh.
And I totally didn't understand the head giving head. Oh, okay, Franken, you really on your list? Best adaptations of horror comics.
Wow.
9.5 out of 10. Huh.
It's solid. I think.
Yeah, like.
I think with nostalgia in mind, like thinking about how much this movie meant to me and how much, like a comic book adaptation, all of that, like I think including the nostalgia would bump it up to at least an 8.5 for me. But trying to remove that and looking at the parts that I would remove, I'm still going to give it more of like a 7, 7.5.
Factoring in the nostalgia and the soundtrack, I would have been like 8.5, like easy,
Yeah.
because fuck that 9 Inch Nails cover of Dead Souls alone, and then I did Thrill Kill Colts After the Flesh.
Burned by the Cure, which was like that was my jam.
Long ass fucking intro.
Yep.
There's a couple of clunkers on that soundtrack too.
Yeah.
But overall, Reanimator would definitely get the Lovecraft going.
I say let's do. I'm gonna watch both anyways, but I vote for Reanimator.
Okay, I will try and watch both, but I can't promise.
Okay.
But I watched Beetlejuice like 137 times, so I know that movie backwards and forwards, but I haven't watched it in a while. And Best Buy just had like a 4K re-release with the new Steelbook cover and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Vigilante, you're like Mr. Lovecraft. If you want to come on and do Reanimator with us, like I'd be down for it. Just throwing it out there because I know you love Lovecraft, and
even if you just want to join us for like the second half, like even if you don't want to join us for the first half, if you just want to come and talk that movie.
Yeah, boy, I have not watched that movie since probably 1987.
I watched it, I think, during quarantine a couple months ago.
Oh, it's a perfect quarantine movie.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the movie I've watched the most, I don't know why, Videodrome. Did you ever see that? It's got James Woods in it, and all right, Frank. All right.
Yep. Let's do it.
Yeah, as we get closer, I will send you a link to join us, and this will be fun. This will be an interesting episode 99.
Mm-hmm.
Reanimator had what, 3, 4 sequels?
Something
There's like
that,
Bride of Reanimator.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fucking sequels to that, and I never understood why. It's almost like Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 uses a half hour of the original movie, almost, actually maybe more, and then they sprinkle in like little institute shots, and it has the.
Sorry, he's getting sassy. He's getting so sassy.
I was gonna say, tell Josh to chill.
No, this is Luna.
I know, I'm joking. Vampirella Reanimator crossover. I did not read any of those Reanimator. I think the Halloween comics were the only like real, and I think a couple of the Friday the 13th comics. I read a lot of the Nightbreed and Hellraiser comics, because apparently those like Clive Barker's okay with.
Yeah. Yep.
It's weird how he picks and chooses. So we don't hate The Crow. It's just time has not shown well on it.
Yeah, like I think for what it was, for the time, it's kind of like my feelings about Walking Dead. Like, I think for what it did for, like, one, Image Comics, two, just comics in general, and for comic book related movies and stuff, 100% I think it did what it needed to do. But looking back at the series, it's not one of my, like, absolute favorites, even though I own more t-shirts for The Walking Dead than Saga.
Well, you got to share your fandom.
Yeah, true.
And then they re-put everything out in color now for Walking Dead. It's just like, all right, dude, like, we get it. Did we really need to re-release it so fast?
I think that if they do end up going the whole series and doing that, because they're doing single issues of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they'll end up being collectible issues. So I think that any speculators, like, I almost kind of just want to buy one just because I know that, like, if I got it graded and, like, sold it, it would be worth.
I'd rather do the Scott Pilgrim thing they did where they just released the hardcover trades with it colored. Yeah. But, you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Walking Dead brought people to comic shops that weren't buying, and some of them managed to start picking up other books. Some of them only bought the omnibuses, though, the big ass collections.
Yep.
Next week is not a big boy.
You know, the site that I typically go to like pick up my like what's coming out in the next couple weeks, Comics Lift shifted to Go Collect, and the format is completely different. And I was like, is this a different format that I'm used to? And there's just not a lot, but I think I literally have on my
Second Bitterroot trade.
Oh yeah, I'll probably actually be getting a lot more trades. And then oh my
Dracula
God,
motherfucker.
Dracula motherfucker, and then
Commanders in Crisis, which has a Momoko cover and a Stepan Sejic, so I'm kind of in between one of those getting.
And then, like, seriously, those couple of things, and then the 3 Ten of Swords books. That's all I have on my list. So, like, if
I will be picking up the Becky Cloonan Killjoys.
Oh, yep, that's coming out.
The B variant. The Crow Leth trade paperback. I actually like that miniseries. So if you're looking at possibly picking up some Crow, that is one that I'm looking at. Cable number 5. I'm not sure which cover I'm going to pick up.
All of them. I'm just kidding.
I'll know when I get there. The Hellions Pacelli cover, though, I will pick up. That one I really like. And what was the third? Oh, New Mutants with the Momoko.
Yeah.
Peachy. Strange Academy on its 4th fucking printing.
Yo, I was looking at Strange Academy. Number 1, just the, like, A cover, I think is going for like $70 right now. That blows my mind. And I don't even think it was a sleeper hit by any means, but I don't know if it had anything to do with the quarantine happening and people, like, you know, it came out and that was
It came out the week before quarantine hit.
Yeah, so people probably didn't get it, or, you know, whatever was going on. But I'm so shocked that that one is worth like $70 right now.
Once in Future number 12.
Okay.
7 Secrets number 3, which I know you won't be picking up. Oh, did you see the Lumberjanes thing where the animated is coming out?
That's one that I ended up picking up in trade. I never, I just started picking up in trade. So I think that I have some maybe scattered single issues. But that's one of the series that I'm really sad that I didn't pick up single issues on, because it's such a fantastic series. I love that series so much.
Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists number 2 and number 1 second print.
Yep.
Bad Mother number 3 of 5. I've actually been really liking Bad Mother.
I think I didn't like the first, so.
Bleed Them Dry number 4.
I love that series by Vault. I don't think that I liked issue 3 as much as I liked the previous ones, but I really enjoyed that series.
There's one here, Devil's Red Bride from Vault Comics. I'm gonna probably pick up. It looks kind of interesting.
Can you do me a favor, in whatever site that you're looking at, can you send it to me? Because like,
oh, I go to Previews World.
Oh, okay. So that's
and they have the new release list. And the DC books coming out, I have to go to a whole different site because Diamond, of course, won't show those.
Yeah.
Batman the Outsiders, a second printing of Batman 3 Jokers. I didn't know that needed to go to a second printing.
Of course it did. Because there wasn't enough fucking variants.
Death Metal number 4.
I have feelings.
On Death Metal, or?
What?
Oh, you said you had feelings. I didn't know if that was about Death Metal or Three Jokers.
I have feelings about Three Jokers, obviously. I'll probably still pick up issue 4 of Death Metal, if for the only reason because each of the first 3 issues are each worth like $30-$40 right now. So yeah. Yep. So
wow.
I'll probably pick up issue 4 just to kind of breeze through it.
Another DC horror book, The Doomed and the Damned. It's a one-shot. What
was that one more time?
DC, The Doomed and the Damned. And it looks like it's going to be like a horror one-shot. The Flash, I don't think I'm going to pick it up since Josh Williamson's now no longer on the book. Justice League Odyssey. A book I refuse to pick up. Rorschach number 1.
You know, I was looking because I forget which book that I was reading that had like a thing about it in the back, and I'm probably gonna buy it if for no other reason, just to hate read it.
Oh, is it to trigger me?
No, not necessarily for that, but I just
it's just a bonus.
Just I'm pretty sure that I'm not gonna like it, and if our viewers have anything to say about our feelings on Mercy and hate reading that, if for no other reason than just entertaining our viewers on hate reading something.
Strange Adventures number 6. It's a Tom King week. And the beautiful Joshua Middleton Wonder Woman B variant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is beautiful. It looks like it should be a tarot card. That is about it. Ooh. And a Swamp Thing trade paperback, Twin Branches, by Maggie Stiefvater and Morgan Beam.
That one I think is more of like a young adult title.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But I love me some Swamp Thing. So I actually I'm probably gonna do a video about Swamp Thing in a little bit because I love my boy.
And for those wondering about the Rorschach, why I'm not buying it, it's more of in support of Alan Moore, and not so much of like me hating Tom King. I think this is a bad idea doing it, especially with what's going on. And Rorschach is kind of a character that is like a dog whistle.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I'm still gonna buy it. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Like, again, though, like, I feel kind of bad for Alan Moore.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Unless he like summons himself in like abysmal hellfire and shows up, he's like, wah!
I don't know if like I forget who did it on Instagram, but they posted a picture of Alan Moore this morning, and I saw it, and I'm just like, my heart dropped. I'm like, don't tell me that Alan Moore died. He's got to save us for 2020. And luckily, crisis averted. Alan Moore, I think, is still alive and kicking. He's a hermit, so we may not know. But, you know.
So I think we're pretty much done. We've done enough. We broke our cycle of doing our shows, which lasted all of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're back to just randomly blurting out shit for way longer than an hour. Yeah. Thank you, everybody who stopped by. Rod, Varangian, Poor Mike, Matt.
John.
You
said my friend Matt, comic collector.
Yes, the comic collector. I really appreciate everybody coming in. You guys are great, and it makes it worth coming on, other than the fact that Jen and I just like making each other laugh.
Making each other cry.
Have we gotten there yet?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm like devoid of feelings, so unless they're just really intense opinions. You did make me spit out my tea, so.
Yes, that was my bonus for this week.
That's as close as I'll get to crying.
So for those of you who have been reading Dune, come join us Monday night at 10 Eastern, 7 p.m. There's going to be a lot of feels in these chapters. You might see Sid drop tears.
That is not good water discipline.
Spit and split.
That's what she said.
Oh, that is actually so nice of you, Mike. And again, it's funny because everybody's like, "Oh, you guys must have like known each other," or something. Like, no, we just randomly met on Instagram.
I feel like because like I moved from Florida, but then like right after I moved, like 3 months later, COVID hit. And I have like coworkers and like people that I know, but I literally like don't know anyone physically in person here. So I don't know. Like I feel like friends I make on the internet are the real homies.
Well, it's weird when you meet people that you didn't really ever meet, and you have like weird like. Did we just become best friends? Yeah.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
Like. Because like we did the one book club with Cinia and you, and we got done with it, and Gambit goes, "That was a lot of fun. Like I liked having them on," and I was like, "Aww. Yeah." And then that's when I asked Jen to come on permanent because we had done the Dune episode, and I'd like to forget it, especially when the person on with us was like, "Oh no, there should be more pedophilia because that's what."
Because it's true to the books, and I'm just like,
yeah. But thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. It's weird because I always get freaked out because Aunt Saldivar had wrote that watching Jen and I every week review comics was his favorite thing, and I was like, wait, people actually watch us? Like, it's a weird feeling because like for me, it's just a release. Like I get to just run my mouth for a while, and
and I have like so many opinions about like comics, and I don't really know very many people in person who like also really enjoy comics. So it's like I'll talk about comic books, but then I end up looking like Charlie Day, like there is no Pepe Silva. Like I feel like that's how I look when I talk about comic books in person. So it's nice to rant and people enjoy it because people in person do not enjoy me talking about comics. So
I'd imagine like you'd lock yourself in another room to get away from me. You'd be like, you know what? I'm done talking to you in person. You're like, I'm on the other side of the room, and you're gonna shout at each other.
I'm a pretty big introvert, so I need that time where I step away and don't talk to anyone. So
I do too. Also, Cinia Reads, go check out her channel. She already is outlapping me in subscribers and doing it a lot shorter, but she has a huge Twitter following.
I was going to say she has a little bit of a bigger Twitter presence, and because she also does stuff with
But Why Though also, and her JoJo stuff. But yeah, like go ahead, check her out. She is a ball of energy, and as she gets more comfortable streaming, like she just has like she's a natural at it. Like she just 100%. And then she have her spastic hands everywhere.
And her laugh.
I love her. And I imagine it's only a matter of time before all of a sudden Sid starts streaming too, and then
I hope so.
She won't. She might.
Maybe she will.
She might come on more with us.
Yeah.
maybe, now that she's not 11 hours ahead from my other chair, maybe. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. Come join us Monday, and next week we have Vigilante on with us, and we'll be talking Reanimator on top of new comics. So that's going to be a ton of fun. We've not actually talked to Vigilante before, other than chat, and he always has good shit that he can kind of put on our radar. So awesome. Yeah. It's weird how now we're booking guests from chat.
Yeah.
And the week after that, we got Rod and John's Comics with Kids for the 100th.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird that it's there. Like, I even like thinking about it, I'm like, how did I get here? Is this my beautiful life?
I was just about to say, Talking Head song. This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful life. This is not my large automobile.
And then the days go by. I'm always more of a psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
For me, it's always gonna be This Must Be the Place. Dun 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 dun.
With trigger warnings. Awesome. Just don't do it when Jen's drinking tea, because gotta wait for her to be in a truly mood.
Yeah, a truly. Yeah. Which I'll probably pop one open in a minute. So
yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be drinking Monday night during the. I'm gonna need to get loose and unwind and get over my morose from what happens in this.
Yeah. Spoiler.
I haven't read it yet. Okay. I'm gonna probably do that right before the show. I'm trying to nail all 80 or 90.
I'm trying to be good. I'll read it ahead of time.
Well, since I actually caught up on all my comics, I'll probably read maybe a chapter tonight at work.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
I'm proud because it feels like for a while, like there were a couple weeks where I was like, I bought a couple comic books and I didn't really read them. And let me talk about last week's comics. Or there was a week where I'm like, I literally read 3.
The weird thing is that Cinia now is like Miss Dune. She's like, oh, no, we're finishing this. And I was just like, okay. Well, no. Well, we're either doing 80 or 100 pages. I was like, all right, girl. Like, okay. You're telling us what we're reading.
I feel like, and she's the one that has the most, like, I mean, because she has a job, she goes to school and like doing her thing. So you know what? If she can handle it, then I guess I can too.
Yeah, and Sid already read ahead, like, so she's got her notes and comfortable because she couldn't stop herself.
Yeah.
But very cute video she posted of herself on the swing with her friend. Okay, so as said before, we're leaving. Oh, Mike. There's a playlist for the show on the channel, so you can just go ahead and throw it on the background and hear us vamp.
Yeah.
And I have everything on playlists, so book club, everything else. I've been really actually vigilant about that. So I keep saying we're leaving, and we're gonna leave now. Take care. Bye.
Bye.